Well, let's see, it's been about 180 years, if my math is right, since de Tocqueville was in the United States. How have ideas about citizenship changed in the United States?
Well, we have more legal conceptions of citizenship. So at the time, states could define who was a citizen, and the rights and obligations of citizenship was varied state to state. Congress did not get involved in the citizenship business until much later. And of course, the Constitution did not define U.S. citizenship until the 14th Amendment in 1868.
Can you address the changes in state and national identity that have occurred since the early colonial period?
Well, before the United States of America came into existence, colonists identified themselves, of course, as British subjects and citizens. And one of the backgrounds to the Revolutionary War was a grievance with the United Kingdom for not treating them with their own obligations as citizens. So when the transfer of citizenship went from the British time to the United States, the very first attachment of an individual would be to their state. Their attachment to the United States was a work in progress all the way to the Civil War.
Why do you think the framers didn't bother defining national citizenship? Where is it defined?
It is really not defined until the 14th Amendment, which was ratified after the Civil War in 1868. Until then, citizenship could be regulated by Congress, and Congress did have some indication that they were interested in defining American Indian citizenship. But there's very little evidence that this was a legal question for Congress. The Supreme Court had to define the right of Native Americans regarding their own sovereignty and their connection to the United States. But again, at the time, it's hard for us to understand this, but federalism was really the predominant mode of defining legal obligations and rights. In other words, the states defined citizenship and rights for themselves.
Looking at things today, what tensions do you see exist between national unity and state sovereignty?
This is a very complex question because there's so much of one's life that is actually determined by a state. So one of the narratives in American politics recently is that the federal government is too big and encompasses too many parts of our life. And there certainly is evidence to back that up. But on a day-to-day basis, we also have to remember how many differences there are between states. For example, your tax rates are different state to state, both income, sales tax, property tax, business taxes. Your right as a criminal defendant actually can be quite different state to state. For the same crime, you might get the death penalty in one state, whereas in another state, the death penalty would never be considered by law. There are a lot of differences about voting, which we'll talk about a little bit later, regarding how you register, how you participate in a primary, what time is available for you to come into the polls. Those are the types of things that do vary state to state quite a bit.